We're 100 days from the election now, less than. I have a hard time believing the Wayfair thing based on the Russia. Mostly anything dealing with Russia, I have a hard time to believe.
You fill 1,700 pages, and maybe you'll want to write more of them. I mean, everything we're talking about, you could have a page and a half.
And maybe they'd read more of them too.
Yeah.
Because the long form discussion is taking over these news segments, are taking over these spoon-fed, prepackaged media sound bites that we get every day.
Media. Yep.
Do you think anyone on the left should have been blamed for this?
The insurrection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the entire media.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Hey everyone, Dave here, December 1773. With me as always is Ryan. This is episode 82 of the weekly show. All of the week's hottest topics with a twist. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you follow, subscribe, like the video, comment on the video, all those things. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, you should also be watching on Rumble, because Rumble, I have been playing around with it. I like the idea that Rumble is kind of like a free speech version of YouTube. That's pretty appealing to me. But the Rumble app itself is actually really cool, because you can do these things where you watch videos and like for X amount of seconds, and you can swipe it or rumble it, which is basically liking. So if you're watching on Rumble, make sure you rumble this video. Go follow us on our channel page and rumble all those videos too. We need some good rumbles ready.
Rumble sound radical rumbles.
Oh, Ryan's trying to wordsmith this thing out in his head. Well, he wordsmithed this out.
I took a nap today, so I'm trying to come back, people.
On the show today, just so everyone knows, we have a couple of things to get to, but the big thing we really want to talk about is what's going on in Canada. We kind of shortly bragged about Ryan's correctness last week's episode. I guess we can continue bragging about Ryan's correctness on this week's episode. We're actually going to break it down quite a bit more this time than we did last week, just because last week was just a quick I told you so. This week is...
I don't think people understand what power is actually not yours. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you're like the average true person like that walks around like nah, they'll come for everything. Let's just say that.
Before we get into talking about Canada, though, we have a couple of quick things to talk about. A couple of updates here. Ryan, I did see, we've been talking about Brian Flores a lot, and I think the reason is, I just think it's an important discussion, because it's not just about the NFL or Brian Flores. It's about, the whole social, outlook of what's going on in America right now. And Brian Flores apparently has amended his lawsuit to include the Texans for failing to hire him. We talked about his lawyer's statement last week, how he basically said, I'm very happy they hired a black person as a coach, but, they didn't hire me. So we actually this is really exciting, Ryan. I don't know if you know this or not. I haven't told you, but we did get an exclusive leaked phone conversation between Brian Flores and his lawyer. Everyone take a listen now.
Hello, Mr. Flores. How are you today? Well, I'm not doing so good. Well, what's going on, Mr. Flores? I got some information about my lawsuit against the NFL. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, what information do you have for us here? Well, did you see the Super Bowl yesterday? I certainly did, yes. Did you see who won the MVP of the Super Bowl? Yes, I believe it was Cooper Kupp from the Los Angeles Rams. Well, what? Well, he's white. Well, yes, he is white, but what does that have to... Man, did you see T. Higgins had more yards, more touchdowns, but I bet he didn't win because he was black. Okay, I suppose. Okay, let me just get a pen and write this down. So you think the receiver on the losing team should have won the Super Bowl MVP because he had more yards and touchdowns? Okay, just writing this down real quick. Okay, I will forward this and get it added to your file. And hold on. Well, do you have more information? Yeah. Did you see the halftime show? Well, yes, I did see the halftime show. Okay, so who was in the halftime show? Well, it was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, I believe. Yeah, and Eminem, sir. Well, what? Well, he's white. Yes, Eminem is white. But 5 of the 6 artists were people of color. Yeah, but they could have found somebody else to do the show with Dr. Dre. I mean, there's other black rappers. Okay, let me just write this down. Eminem is white, so the NFL is racist. Okay, I got these added, and I will add this to your file. Wait. Yes, sir, do you have more for the file? Well, I never met you before. Well, no, we tend to do our hearings and everything over the phone. It just tends to be more efficient than flying out for every, hearing and doing in-person hearings. Yeah, but, I mean, okay, are you, like, what are you? I'm Jewish, sir. So you're white? No, sir, Jewish people are not. What? Hello? Mr. Flores? Mr. Flores? Hello, are you there? Mr. Flores? Hello?
So, yeah, Brian Flores, that took a turn I did not expect.
All good things got to come to an end.
We'll keep an eye on the Brian Flores situation. He did get hired, by the way. He got hired by Pittsburgh Steelers as an assistant coach. So.
Oh, with the other black guy.
Yeah. So this leaked phone interview or video or phone conversation came out before he got hired to Pittsburgh. So. Yeah.
It's terrifying.
So let me know what everyone thinks about that. Ryan, we're going to start talking meta again. Because the world we're in is meta. There's 2 worlds. There is the world, and then there's the meta world. The meta world, I just heard some news about it that I think is really going to shake you a little bit.
I have something for you as well.
Oh,
about the meta.
What if it's the same thing, Ryan? We do tend to be on the same page.
I can't believe you took this from me. I actually seen a video about this. Go ahead.
Wait, what if it's you don't know if it's the thing I'm talking about though. All right, we'll jump.
Jesus, take the wheel, bro.
Britain's former deputy prime minister is now one of the most powerful people at Meta.
Wait, who? Britain?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Ryan. I'm going to tell you who.
Who's this guy?
Nick Clegg, once the second most powerful man in Britain, is now one of the most powerful people at Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg promoted the former deputy prime minister, which is kind of like the vice president, to president.
Former deputy prime minister.
To president of global affairs on Wednesday, putting him in charge of, quote, all policy matters as the tech giant faces a barrage of global regulation. Clegg was previously vice president of global affairs. The Cambridge University graduate who joined Facebook in 2018 as head of policy and communications used to be the leader of Britain's centrist Liberal Democrats Party, which, so for people who don't know, we kind of talk about it on this show, but like the left in Britain is kind of like the center, and then there's the far left, which is kind of the same thing that's slowly happening here. The quote, Nick will now lead our company on all policy matters, including how we interact with governments as they consider adopting new policies and regulations.
That's weird that they would go to formal, like, just these people that still believe in royalty as a symbolic nature of power. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's not by coincidence that the very nation that birthed these kings and queens that conquer the world that we always hear are these evil conquesting people, these people that were ruthless, right? Sit on chairs built out of gold. And then one of those people, that society has spawned a guy that's going to work with all the other governments because this guy probably understands global affairs, obviously. But they work. There's the freaking queens over there. We don't have royalty here. This is my big stink with people referencing Europe. They have a queen, symbolic kings and queens over there. You know what I mean? Everywhere over there. Jordan, all these places, the king, Dabu Babi, I don't know. You know, like... So that's the problem with this. But combat, I'm sure they're going to combat misinformation on a global scale. That sounds wonderful.
Right. Well, and that's the thing about this that is, you know, we got to just be cautious about this kind of stuff because what they're out front in saying that this person who was formerly in a government is now going to be working with Meta, which is a social media private company platform, with other governments about how Meta is going to operate around the world.
And he said all decisions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just all decisions.
And
all decisions. The world of male patriarchy is just an evil, destructive force on nature. Yeah, we're going to appoint a guy that just, you know, has supreme power over all the choices we make as a global organization.
And the way they word it is terrifying, too, because the guy's going to lead the company on all policy matters, right? Including how they interact with governments. Not with people. Right? This is a platform made for people. He's in charge of how they act with government. That should be a red flag.
It's crazy how it went from social media to government media.
Yeah, well, when they found out how they could use it, it happened real quick. The work we do at Meta matters to a lot of people around the world, Zuckerberg said.
Dude, at what point do we relate this to the rise of Hitler in power and having like a propaganda arm and machine? I don't know his name, but we all hear about him, all these propaganda films the Nazis were notorious for in World War II. At what point are we seeing something that's a highly similar fashion? Well, I'm really asking like objectively. I'm not like asking because I think I know it. I'm really like how else are we supposed to view this?
Right. And I guess the question would be, you know, when we're already getting propaganda from what's the classic form of media, right? Now we're getting it through social media and it's happening in our schools. And it's, I mean, I don't know. Aren't we there? I mean, is it crazy to say we're there now?
I mean, we say every week these people know what they're doing. So I think we know the answer to that as people at December, you know, that follow us and stuff. Yeah, obviously, like, but it's like serious. Like, I think it's a conversation we got to have. I said it once to somebody. I think I said it here. Could you imagine if Hitler had social media and could track you? And the person's response was, well, Hitler didn't need social media. Yeah, because he had guns on every corner. Well, but you don't even need guns.
That's kind of the point, though.
Yeah, you don't need guns on every corner, no, when your family can spy on you and throw you in and your neighbors and everything monitors all. I mean, we're talking about monitoring water and electricity with some of these smart devices. Imagine if like the government could corruptly turn yours off if you, you know, if they're taking money from some people, what would stop them from just turning off your power or electricity? That was something Los Angeles provided, right? During the pandemic, they said, we'll shut off businesses' heat and gas if they don't comply.
Well, sure. And what did you talk about last week, right? During Ryan's record, we talked about smart meters.
Yeah. So this is all, I know it's a jump, but I mean, and obviously this is just a private company, but we see what this private company has done to at a global scale, which is why they need a guy with global fucking experience to lead their division on all choices.
Yeah. Well, it's a jump, but that's kind of what we do here.
It's the point of it,
we draw
right?
the lines that people aren't drawing yet.
Yeah, that's the battle of the meta right now, is like getting ahead of it, right? Because we have to predict the future of what these things will bring.
Yeah.
I mean, the World Economic Forum, I was going to bring this up with something else, but I might as well say it. The World Economic Forum, we just got the tweet in the December chat, and it said, hello, it's 2035. You own nothing, you have no privacy, and you're the happiest you've ever been.
That would be the goal, right? That's I assume.
Yeah, that's the goal of the World Economic Forum, which is a global organization that probably is tied into all these governments and has very similar language in all their crazy documents. So Dan Kershaw is on there, a representative of Texas, a guy who's supposed to be for freedom and all these other things, but he's on a very council promoting some of these maybe. So these are things we got to be careful of because it is slippery.
Yeah. It goes on. Meta has become increasingly unpopular with politicians around the world following scandals relating to privacy, content moderation, data leaks, election meddling, and child safety. Election meddling? I thought we had safe and secure elections, right?
I like how they threw in Epstein's Island there without saying it, too.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that somebody at Meta was caught in a hotel room on camera with luring boys into his. Yeah. I'm glad they're worried about child safety over at the Meta.
Yo, I tell a guy to jump off a bridge, they censor me instantly. They you know what I'm saying? We're gonna work real hard with local governments to combat all this stuff.
Yeah, including misinformation and.
Yeah, you just have to get global funding. I'm sure Facebook. I'm sure Facebook will get global funding at some point, people, and they will be this global. You imagine a global metaverse, bro? Yeah, I can actually.
I can because
it's happening.
It's here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We talked about a while back also, our government working with Meta. At the time it was Facebook, I believe, but our government working with Facebook in controlling these narratives, things about fact checking and all that. So I don't know, this isn't surprising, but at the same time, I mean, just keep your eye out. I mean, some of this stuff is it's literally in plain sight.
Yo, Dave, good call on that. It's actually kind of funny because if this guy's making all choices, right, which is basically an opinion, Facebook came out and said that fact checks are basically an opinion. So,
right, yeah,
a little line there for you.
So fact checks are really whose opinion they care about more.
They just go to the guy with the bigger clipboard, of the chain of command.
Ryan, this was a headline update from a while ago. This is kind of like a fact check, right? A while back, do you remember we had the headline about Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket that's going to hit the moon?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. It turns out that's wrong. Also, wait till the end to find out whose rocket. Astronomers now say the rocket about to strike the moon is not a Falcon 9.
Whoa!
About 3 weeks ago, ARS Technica first reported that astronomers were tracking the upper stage of a Falcon 9 rocket and were increasingly confident that it would strike the moon on March 4th. This story set off a firestorm of media activity. Much of this coverage criticized SpaceX for failing to properly dispose of the second stage of its Falcon 9 rocket after the launch of NOAA's Deep Space Climate Observatory mission, or DISCOVER. However, it turns out we were all wrong. A Falcon 9 rocket is not going to, in fact, strike the moon next month. Instead, it's probably a Chinese rocket.
I wonder if they reported that it's probably a Falcon 9 rocket because the Chinese government at the same time was running some propaganda about it, trying to demonize Tesla, trying to break their way into foreign markets. But
I'm sure it's a coincidence, right? If you're on Rumble, by the way, also, Rumble us while you're on Rumble. But if you're on Rumble, I'm not necessarily a big fan, but I gotta say I like this thing. There's Bannon's War Room, right? That's his channel, and he's got a show on there, Steve Bannon. He's got a thing over here somewhere, and it says, oh man, it's something about not everything's there are no conspiracies and there are no coincidences. I think that's what it says, something along those lines.
Man, that's weird. That almost sounds like these people know exactly what they are doing.
This is no accident, Ryan.
I'm so glad I've literally never even heard one episode of that asshole's program, and I can say that he stole my sauce. This is ridiculous. Probably got more episodes than he does.
We're gonna get to.
He's been going hard. I'm not shit talking Steve Bannon for no reason, but just like why I stopped listening to people, man.
We're gonna get to the Canadian thing in just a minute here, but this was from a while ago, but we never really talked about it, and I thought it was kind of interesting. But did you see?
Hold on. I'm sorry, not to completely steal your sauce. Did those scientists not trust the science about the rocket hitting the moon?
Well, So
I thought they get all this billions and trillions of dollars to spy on me, to have a big ass satellite to look at rockets apparently crashing into stuff. Why do we care if things crash into the moon? They've been smashing into that thing for like, I don't know, 1 billion years, and now we care about space garbage? Isn't that the best way to clean it up, is to smash it in, break it into a trillion little fucking pieces? What is wrong with people? We care about space garbage, but they probably smoke a cigarette and flick it on their neighbor's lawn.
Yeah, Ryan. It turns out that it was just a mix-up. They had 2 rockets launched at similar times, and they followed the wrong one. But
if they were only able to combat misinformation way in advance, this story would have never been printed in the first place.
It's okay, Ryan. We're combating misinformation right now.
I can't wait for this fact check.
So anyway, we this happened a while ago, but we didn't talk about this, and I thought it was interesting. Did you see the Adele thing? She was at a gender-neutral award show, whatever the fuck that is.
That's crazy. She got way hotter, and now she's way dumber.
Well, and she said something about how she loves being a woman, and apparently that was offensive.
Oh, okay. That's not where I thought this was going.
No, that's literally it. You didn't see this.
Nah.
She was at a gender-neutral award show, right? And she said, I love being a woman, right? Okay. So we can all agree that she loves being a woman, I guess. This is her truth, right? Isn't this the kind of bullshit language we hear? Like, and people attacked her. They're like, how insensitive it is to say that a gender-neutral... Why? She's not gender-neutral. You invited her there. She's supposed to have your opinion at your show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
if
where
you don't, you're not allowed. If you don't, you're not allowed on. But we're gonna give you an award. Was she given an award, or she was just at the award show?
She was at the award show. I think she.
Yeah, fuck that. Why? This is why like J. Cole and other people don't go anywhere too. I'm sure. It's just like a wait and hit piece for a lot of this stuff, but they don't even think about it. I love being a woman. Yeah, you should love being a woman.
That's offensive hate speech, Ryan.
We know why they're doing this. They want a war on the nuclear family to destroy society. They do it every time that civilization falls, nuclear family falls apart. So whatever.
Yeah, that sounds like far right.
Not saying it's conscious. Yeah, I'm not saying it's like a conscious thing that these people are just brainwashed by an ideology pushed in all the public and college educations and on every media station that I ever turn on, pushes the same narrative all the time. It's crazy that like one article like says one thing and then the next article says the exact same thing and then the one after that says the exact same thing. And I see this trend every week. And then I wonder why Adele can't get told, I love being a woman without getting harassed because all these people have bought into this lie. So, yeah, what else do we expect is why we talk about the things we talk about, encourage people to take action. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy, though, because Adele is way hotter now, and she was like way under the spotlight for losing weight because she got healthy. She didn't do it to be hot. She was like, I'm doing it to be healthy, and people were like criticizing her, and like that was like one of the spotlights. So this is just going to keep happening to people that are like...
Yeah, that's offensive now, too.
Yeah, it can't be body positivity when you talk about, I don't know, not eating enough food for 7 people every day.
You can't be fat phobic, whatever that means.
Yeah, that's how we save people's lives.
Real quick before we get into Canada, because this is getting into Canada already, but in a different way. The CBC News...
You mean Mordor? You mean Mordor?
The CBC News put out something, and it said, why the word freedom is such a useful rallying cry for protesters. The word has become common among far-right groups, experts say. Freedom is far right. I'll gladly take that claim.
Hey, I got a question for Tim Pool.
Oh.
Where you stand now, bud? Where's your center line? The CDC. Freedom is a far-right idea.
No, CBC.
Oh, CBC.
Yeah, this is Canadian Broadcasting, whatever. It's Canadian CNN.
Oh, that's weird. That's here. I mean, we talk about that. We just call it different. It's crazy. I'm sure that's the same place that talked about the freedom to be whatever gender you wanted. And the freedom of speech that you can't, you're not allowed to like tell people whatever. So
Well, the reason this is so
far
important.
right term, but yeah, I have a question for these people. I know, like, I was being obnoxious with the Tim Pool thing, but this is what I mean about you got to pick a side, man. You can't be this middle person. They're gonna define you. They did it with Rogan, and they're gonna try to put you in a box and paint you as an enemy.
Well, Tim Pool has been labeled as far right as well as Russell Brand, as we pointed out. But yeah, this is why, and this. I mean, it's happening here and there, and there's a reason. It's because, globalism is inevitable. But the reason this is so important is because this is the foundation for what's happening right now in Canada. Justin Trudeau declares rare, and by rare, the only time this act has been claimed, public emergency to quell protests. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took the rare step of declaring a national public order emergency on Monday in a push to end protests that have paralyzed the center of the Canadian capital for more than 2 weeks. And
Dave, how are they going to do that? How are they going to do that?
Oh, don't worry. We'll tell you.
How are they going to quell protests? I wonder how we stop protests.
Interesting. Mr. Trudeau and several of his cabinet ministers said the move would allow the government to take a variety of steps, including freezing bank accounts of protesters to clear the blockade of about 400 trucks in Ottawa and smaller protests that have closed border points in Alberta and Manitoba.
Sure, that's not going to get anybody upset at all.
We're just don't mind us. We're just freezing bank accounts.
Yeah, it's just your money.
We cannot and will not allow illegal and dangerous activities to continue, the Prime Minister said in a speech to the nation, pointing to, quote, serious challenges to law enforcement's ability to effectively enforce the law. The invocation of the Emergency Act confers enormous, if temporary, powers on the federal government. Basically, it says it gives them very large amount of power, even though it's technically a temporary large grab of power. No power grab is temporary. Be aware of that.
To flatten the curve.
Right. Did they say 2 weeks? They meant 2 years. It was just a
it's going to be like
typo.
2 centuries.
It was just a typo.
2 centuries to flatten the curve.
It allows the authorities to move aggressively to restore public order, including banning public assembly and restricting travel to and from specific areas. This is my favorite part of this whole thing. But Mr. Trudeau and members of his cabinet offered repeated assurance that the act would not be used to suspend, quote, fundamental rights. Fundamental rights like, I don't know, public assembly and traveling to areas. It bans public assembly and travel, but he doesn't want to, overstep his lines on fundamental rights. And we talk about this. You don't have fundamental rights in Canada. You have fundamental rights here, right? It's very different there.
Mm-hmm. We were given our rights by Creator in America. Up there, they're just like a proxy of their. Basically, I don't know. Before I keep shit talking Canada for good reason, I'm gonna compare our rights to theirs and see why our freedom of speech is more superior. So next week when I get on here, I can trash talk them appropriately. But what they own everything. What I tell you guys. And this isn't going to quell protest, obviously, David. Remember when I was telling everybody, I don't know, 6 months ago that the people I know personally are not going to keep going to work every day?
Yeah, that's these people. Here it is. We've been hearing this probably for half of our show's existence, that people aren't going to keep going to work, right? This has been Brian's thing. And here we are, Freedom Convoy in Canada. These people aren't going to work.
Far-right idea is going to ban bank accounts to quell public protest. Freedom isn't a terrorist term.
This part here, this is the helicopter.
Isn't there a famous term? I think it's a Malcolm X thing or something. If you're not educated or something, you'll have the people that doing the oppressing think that they're being oppressed. The government's reaction to I don't know. It's the theft of your substance. I mean, this was in the Declaration of Independence in this country about how they burned their farms and stole their money and all these other things. These people are literally, that's a modern day equivalent. You're going after actual dollars, which is the thing we trade everything in. Yeah. This is crazy. I wonder why they don't want cryptocurrency to take off.
Oh, well, we'll get to that. And Ryan had been saying that helicopters with magnets are going to be coming. This is Ryan's way of being, a little over the top, but the fundamental thing of what he's saying is accurate. Tow truck operators who have been reluctant to cooperate with the police will now be compelled to work with law enforcement agencies to clear Ottawa's streets and the border crossing at Couts, Alberta, and Emerson.
That means by gun. That means by gun. Like by gun. Like if you don't, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. The magnet thing is obnoxious, but yeah, the government will get $1 trillion and pour big ass magnets and suck all that shit off the highway if they need to, because they will, because it's the government. Yeah, this isn't a shock.
Like Ryan said, they are not going to let these people just sit there and clog up the streets
and honk their horns.
While the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Mounties as they're known, the National Force will take over policing in Ottawa from the city's municipal service, its members will now be allowed to enforce provincial laws and local bylaws and carry out any federal orders made under the Emergencies Act. You remember when we talked about the 5 different states of emergencies last week, and you asked, well, how's that going to work? Who's going to have here you go. The Mounties are coming in and they're going to enforce everything.
Yeah, so they basically, what that basically says is the guy that's there is speaking for the entire federal government at that moment. He can say anything he wants. No judge, no jury. We're just going to charge you with a crime. We've suspended all democratic processes, so why are you outside your home? That's illegal, right? In certain areas. What's the certain areas? The bottom third of Canada where everybody lives.
Christia, I think her name's Christia, I don't know how to say that. Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister, right, Vice President, and Finance Minister, outlined several measures that include expanding money laundering and anti-terrorism powers to control the online crowdfunding platforms that have helped finance the protest. Credit card processors and fundraising services will be required to report any blockade-related campaigns to Canada's anti-money laundering agency. We talked about the GoFundMe thing. People said, okay, well, why don't we just do something a little bit different? Go to whatever, Send Go or whatever the hell this shit's called. It's basically like YouTube. Rumble is like YouTube, but you're allowed to do it freely. This is like GoFundMe, except you're allowed to be free. But it doesn't matter, Ryan. It doesn't matter because the government's saying, oh, no, we got our eye on you. The police will be exchanging information with banks about protesters and their personal and business accounts may be frozen. They may be frozen, Ryan. They will be frozen.
I wonder why they want an app with all access to everything on my phone.
Yeah. Insurance companies will be required to revoke insurance on any vehicles used in blockades. So, Ryan, do you remember when a while back they just casually threw out the idea of just monitoring everybody's bank account with more than $600? Yeah, I'm sure this isn't related. Yeah.
They won't stop at car insurance either. It will be their health insurance, their their food stamp cards or whatever.
News for you. They didn't just think of this idea about freezing bank accounts. This has been in the playbook. They didn't just come up with it like, ooh, you know what we could do?
Dude, this is the thing about history, right? They wrote books about this same tactic for thousands of years. What is a blockade? You know what I mean? With ships, they just wait until you run out of grain and they have more grain than you. That's what they're doing. Because they know these people don't have unlimited money like they do. The government has unlimited money. They're just going to wait them out, starve you out. The government is willingly starving out its civilians, practically. I can't wait for the fact check on that.
I would go farther than practically. They're starving them out literally.
Calling them terrorists, too.
Once you cancel their bank accounts, you have them out in the streets in their trucks. You won't let them use or receive fuel to run their trucks, so they're out freezing. They can't buy food because they don't have any money because you froze their bank account. I mean,
you're calling in guys on horses with like unilateral authority on all things. They're sharing info. The police is gonna talk to banks.
Good thing they got all that information of you.
Dude, I wonder why this hasn't happened in America yet, David. I wonder why. Dude, fuck these people, man.
This is incredible. And everything is crazy. Said so casually about this. Like, this is just...
Dude, Canada is 3 hours from my house. Buffalo is like a New York, Canada. Like, come on, man.
Canada is basically a suburb of Buffalo, the way I look at it.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on, dude.
Mr. Trudeau promised that the government would soon announce financial assistance for stores, restaurants, and other businesses in Ottawa that have been forced to close because of the occupation. Which is
it's not because of locking down and mandates and arbitrary government laws trying to dictate policy. I wonder what their inflation is in Canada.
No, they had No, Ryan, that had no effect on businesses. However, this blockade is really hurting them. So Canada's going to be nice. They're going to step in and help them out.
I wonder if this is like the PPE loads that super smart pilot was talking about.
Right. Yeah, last week, right? Here's the guy. We're going to give you this money, but if you don't play ball, we might take it back. That's nice. On Monday morning, as Mr. Trudeau was outlining his decision with the premiers of Canada's 10 provinces, the Mounties said that a large cache of weapons, including guns, body armor, and a machete, had been discovered in 3 trailers at the Couts border blockade. A machete was found. Body armor. Oh, gasp. Body armor. Probably. You know what body armor is, Ryan?
Like clothing?
It's defensive. You don't use body armor aggressively. It's to protect yourself. Which, by the way, in my opinion, that's what...
Why would you need protection, David? I mean, they're only taking your bank account. What do you need protection from? They're only, like, I don't know, preventing you from getting gas and, I don't know, eating. What do you need protection from? We're here to help you. Just the people that said, that agreed with us, we're going to help. The people that didn't, we're going to let starve. We're going to take your money. This is, we're doing it for everybody. Because democracy and all, everybody, 100% of us all agree here. 100%.
Usually, but they did suspend some democratic processes.
Oh, so it's like
due to the emergency. Yeah, they were just trying to quell the protests, Ryan.
Quell the protest, first thing in the article. Take their money. What the fuck?
Maybe compel them to go home. This language is amazing.
Dude, what do you do? So hold on. Let's say I agree with you. Let's say I'm just gonna pack it up. Pack it up, boys. What do? I go home, I call him. Yeah, I'm home now. My truck's in the driveway. Take a picture. All right, here's your money back. I'm sure they're just going to give you your stuff back without, I don't know, excessive fines and levying on your house. I can't wait till they leverage people's houses for protesting. I cannot wait for that headline.
Oh, I'm sure it's coming.
Oh, my Lord, man. Like, what? The writing's on the wall, man. You see it. If this is a totem of things to come into America, I'm
Well, I think
sorry
that's
for
part
my
of why
country,
this is. I think that's why this is so important, though. I mean, because this is signs of things to come, right? I mean, when things happen, things are being tried somewhere else first. So, again, I know we joke around about this, but at the end of the day, I don't know.
What's the only thing that's different? I mean, there's a lot different, but I wonder why it was so different here in America to begin with. And we birthed all these other things that were just delusions of freedom to begin with. It's crazy, like, when America was founded, right, like the freedoms we had, and then these countries that came after us, like, didn't have the quite same freedom, right? It's like almost the same freedom. That's why they still want to come here.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's weird.
It's just weird how that works. It's weird.
When the elder Mr. Trudeau's dad, who was also prime minister, declared an emergency nearly 52 years ago, he relied not on the law his son used Monday, but on a predecessor, the War Measures Act. And his challenge was not civil unrest, but actual terrorism.
Oh, so we're at war now. We're at war with the civilian population.
No, this was the previous War Measures Act.
When, David? In World War II?
No. A group of Quebec separatists who had conducted a bombing campaign in Montreal had kidnapped Quebec's deputy premier and a British diplomat. Remember, this was all 52 years ago when Trudeau's dad was president.
That's definitely the same thing as parking my car on the street. Definitely the same thing.
Well,
did they freeze those guys' bank accounts, or they weren't worried about their bank accounts when they were holding them captive?
No, their bank accounts probably weren't frozen. The Emergencies Act, which was passed in 1988, if I'm not mistaken.
What a bland term, Emergencies Act. What's in it? Everything in that's an emergency.
The Emergencies Act was necessary in the face of the breakdown of law and order in parts of Canada and the economic and reputational costs that Canada suffered with some of its allies, particularly the United States, said Wesley Wark, a national security expert and a senior fellow at the Center for International Governance Innovation. That's the longest title anyone has ever held. That's a Canadian public policy group, apparently. And the article just ends with, I expect some stepped up law enforcement in the next couple of days. You don't say. You don't fucking say. This is unbelievable. This is all happening, like Ryan said, I mean, in our case, a few hours from our house. But regardless, I mean, these are the northern neighbors, right, of the United States. This is pretty much home base here.
It's America light, right?
Right. This isn't happening in China. If this was happening in China, we'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
It does happen in China every day. We're told to not talk about it because globalism is inevitable, of course. People really need to be paying attention to this. Waking up is an understatement. We're not in Kansas anymore, is something AJ used to say. We're like, I don't even know where we are anymore, dude. Like Thanos took over in 2016 and never gave it back. I don't know.
This is crazy. And not everybody can kind of predict the future like you can, Ryan, but I guess we'll just keep an eye on it as things go on. And
I wonder how I predict the future, Dave.
Yeah, probably because these people know exactly what they're doing, and we see it literally on a week-to-week basis. We bring this stuff to you.
It's almost like it's a plan, structured with layers.
And if you want to continue to watch us on a week-to-week basis, make sure you
follow us on Rumble.
Follow us on Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook. I don't mind you going there and following us and subscribing. That's cool. I'm fine with it. But I like Rumble. Rumble's cool. Go to Rumble, follow us there. Rumble the video, which is basically liking. Hit the old Rumble button. It's a boxing glove.
It's violent.
It's a very violent platform. You have to punch people's videos if you like them. Jesus.
Commie Canada, man. Commie Canada.
Commie Canada.
I'm assuming this is where I recycle here.
Yeah, you're yep.
All right, Phoenix it is, bro.
So we've kind of discussed before the show that apparently the headlines segment sort of evolved into breakdowns of headlines, and Ryan's record is now headlines in a way.
So I want to talk about something. This is actually I guess this could be a continuation of a topic, but Sandy Hook was a terrible tragedy that happened in 2012. I'm going to tread lightly here with footprints of misinformation. And
do you hear that? Do you hear the dogs going right now? It's probably an ATF raid downstairs.
They tore that whole school down and built it in one day. Tore everything down and demolished it like one day or something crazy. There's so much. What? Yeah.
Punch it up. Sandy Hook?
Yeah. Punch up. If you want to do this, you can. Punch up on Google. Sandy Hook school demolished.
They demolished the school?
Yeah. After the shooting happened, they demolished it in one day and got rid of everything. And at the time, they were saying that they didn't want any in pieces to get on the internet and fuel conspiracies and stuff.
Sandy Hook Elementary School was demolished in 2013 and is being rebuilt, according to the town's website. Neighbors and townspeople have hoped that the house remainder. So they just just randomly tore the school down?
Yeah, 2013. The shooting happened in 2012, right? November. It was later in the year, 2012, because the SAFE Act happened in 2013. This is actually the very political thing that woke me up to political narratives and all these other things that we talk about here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you type it in, dude, they did it in one day. I'm pretty sure they removed every brick of the freaking building and scooped the dirt out in 1 or 2 days.
I'm on CNN right now because I don't want to give misinformation to anyone.
So you went to the king of fake news. I like it.
Yeah, believe it or not, they don't mention how long it took to tear it down, but they did state it was torn down. That's pretty wild. Demolished in one day. Oh, MSNBC. Construction crews completely demolished former Sandy Hook Elementary School. What? But
what year is this article from, Dave? What do you?
This one?
Mm-hmm.
2014.
All right, I don't want anybody to tell me anything about what's happening in the world ever again. You understand me? Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was... Wait, what? It was written January 2nd, 2014 at 1:19 and then updated January 2nd, 2014 at 2:30. Yeah, that's pretty wild. What? But why?
They didn't want it to, because it was after the shooting. Alex was talking about it. It was all over the place on his pro. He drilled that into our heads, the following for so long, dude, about Sandy Hook.
So this horrible tragedy happens, and they don't build a memorial or something honoring what the fallen students and teachers and whatever. They don't do any of that. They just destroy everything. Whole thing down. And we'll rebuild it later. I don't want to.
Is the school rebuilt?
It's a person. Yeah. So it's a perfectly reasonable thing to do, Ryan, is to just tear the school down.
Happens every time there's a tragedy.
Okay.
All right. So I bring up Sandy Hook. This is fun, though. This is actually kind of fun to just tear apart years of narratives and see them come full circle. Sandy Hook Elementary. Around the time, the parents were rallying together, getting lawyers, and they were going to try to sue Remington Manufacturing for the making of the guns and the ammunition and everything. Now, they won. It happened. They blamed Remington, basically, in the court of law. I don't want to get into the legal thing because this is for far better people like Colin Noir or whatever his name on YouTube. I'm sure he'll be ripping this apart on some of his videos, but this is for far better legal people to understand and rip apart. I only bring it and reference it up because all of the media that talked about it was always about the semi-automatic rifle. And I tried typing this in. Maybe you can do this one too, David. But he actually used handguns to do what he did. The car,
surely were AR-15s, Ryan.
The gun was found in the car, in the trunk of the car. So now, in the article I seen talking about it in particular, when you read down in the article, it does reference 2 semi-automatic handguns. When I tried to re-verify the statement I just said from that time, from 2014 or whenever, 2013, when this information was released, I tried to find this, but I couldn't. I was just finding current news articles about it. But they do tell you that he did have handguns, but they're not telling, whether or not, I don't want to get this flagged for anything, even though it is. He used handguns. I remember the time I was politically aware and awake. I remember it was handguns, man. So just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is if you pull it up, they don't mention any handguns.
Yeah. I have the screenshot on my phone.
Oh, no, here we go. Taken to Sandy Hook Elementary, Sig Sauer P226 9mm semi-automatic handgun. Glock 20 10mm semi-automatic handgun. Bushmaster Model XM15-E2S 223 caliber semi-automatic assault rifle.
Yep, that's 223 is a AR
12 gauge semi-automatic shotgun too. Found in his home was a bolt-action 22, a bolt-action 323, and a 22 caliber starter pistol. Great. Maybe some of the bigger guns were used to demolish the school after.
Just shooting cinder blocks. They probably threw them in the wreckage.
That's. I'm still blown away about that. How did I never even hear about that? Is the thing I want to know.
Look, Dave,
how is that not major news that they just trashed the school? We're done. We're done here. We just tore it down.
I told people about this when it happened. So I don't know, Dave. I was telling everybody. Maybe not everybody because I didn't have this obvious this microphone like this, but I told people. You guys everybody called me crazy. Said it didn't matter. It was crazy. Fucking crazy. Well, like I said about the pond that Adele. I'm serious. Come on. What do you want from me? These people know what they're doing.
For the record, YouTube and Facebook, not necessarily Rumble because you believe in free speech, but YouTube and Facebook, we're not implying that Sandy Hook was a conspiracy. We're just saying. kind of weird.
Yeah. Luckily for me, I fact check now, and I don't need to fact check things myself. Because we have a cool communist filter on all videos now.
Don't worry, you get opinion checked.
2 years to flatten the curve. Apparently, Trump was surveyed this week. Speaking of misinformation, that came out that Trump has apparently the proof that he can release that he was being surveyed in Trump Tower when he was trying to run during the presidency in early 2016.
Oh, I thought we knew that already.
So I know we have maybe known that the whole time, and I know of all of the other scandals that have come out under the Donald Trump presidency that turned out to be just giant, awesome, super media funny soundbite witch hunts. But all that aside, I don't know. I'm sure. Ooh, I just lost all my show prep. How funny is that? All that to be said, this is crazy. These people know what they're doing. But yeah, look forward to it, because there's also other stuff about Trump having classified documents in Mar-a-Lago when he was burning stuff during the insurrection. There was text messages during the insurrection, amongst many other things. But the point still remains that this is not going to go anywhere. This is leading the trail for the midterm election and also the presidential election in 2024. So there's no midterm election, dumbass, it passed. No, there is a midterm election this year, right?
Yeah, it's this year.
Yeah. This will be used for the midterm. Obviously, Trump will probably be on the campaign trail. I'm still betting that Trump will be on Rogan. And I'm going to parry that with this statement that, when Rogan came out the other week, he was talking about his apology with Spotify and was talking about with Spotify. He was basically communicating with them directly. I had a powerful thought about like how the media, because I'm going to tell you this right now as well. They're not going to just openly allow people to be freely expressive, like Joe Rogan, for example. At some point, they've already put a lid on him, kind of, but at some point, they're going to influence what people are going to be watching.
Yeah, influence or compel.
Yeah, or just bribe with money or tell them we'll shut your bank account down if they're not in Swiss bank accounts. But
maybe they just want to quell the interest of Rogan's listeners.
Yeah, I bring it up because I'm not going to keep hammering the Rogan bit because I always do. But he is I hate to slaughter him on a lot of my metaphors but he's a perfect example. You know what I mean? Like, he is the pinnacle of the things they're trying to destroy and tear down. And they are going to influence these people. It got my head thinking about how they would do it. How they'll influence the new wave of media. Because we're in these people in these positions are in the weird scenario a lot of times that a lot of their history of the last 15, 20 years is documented, right? Like the blackmail, we've seen the thing with the Rogan bit, for example. Mm-hmm. So some of that stuff can come up easy now. That stuff isn't you're not waiting to get canceled anymore. It can happen instantly. They're gonna dig it up. But it just made me very curious. I didn't really have any place to go with this other than the statement that be careful about how we see the influence of these new media companies, because at some point you're not going to be able to build your way out of independence from these organizations. Apple has more money on hand than countries do in net worth, just cash, physical currency.
I think we've said that before on the show too.
Yeah, you're not going to beat these people. You can't. You have to join the dark side. You have to join Lord Sidious. That's the way it is. You have to join Sauron.
You have to join us on the far right in our beliefs and freedom.
Yeah, I mean, it's join him, Gandalf. We must join him. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. One thing about the trucker thing, they were gonna do it without a court order. Think of that. Take your bank account without a court approval. You're just gonna. It's just.
Well, the Emergency Act allows you to take such power for a short period of time before having to bring it to Parliament. I guess they use some weird. I don't know.
It's so crazy.
I don't. They're weird. They're basically Europe over there in Canada.
Yeah. Speaking of Europe over there in Canada, let's talk about the prison colony of Australia quick. I seen a TikTok this week that showed that they have cameras in tree bark. It looked like somebody took a hole, drilled it in. Maybe I can send it to you, and you can have it on the program cut in. The camera in one of the trees, and they said they're everywhere. This person, now I haven't verified anything or whatever, but I don't put it past them.
Maybe
Considering
it's
cell
just
phone,
like a trail cam, Ryan, and they're watching the kangaroos or some shit, whatever they do in Australia.
it was in there was cars there, David. They were
Well,
on sidewalks.
Yeah, kangaroos can go on sidewalks.
I mean, you could see like there was a clear hole drilled. I mean, like actually, like the wood. Like I've drilled through trees. You know what I'm saying? Like I know what the hell it looks like. It actually did look like, and it was like recessed in there, dude. Like whatever it was like.
There's like a nice plastic bark bezel around the camera.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, maybe somebody dropped it in the branch.
Yeah, like, this is just a trail cam. They just, nah, bro. And they said they're everywhere, but it's kind of one of those things. Anything's possible considering they have drones that look like birds and jellyfish. And then there's also cell phone towers that are trees. So
mosquito drones that give you vaccinations.
Yeah. Just those.
That's another thing. That's another thing you told me about. Like, how did I not hear that? Mosquito drones. Vaccinating mosquito drones.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot up these mosquitoes with shit and release it on a population to fight malaria. How's malaria transmitted? Through mosquitoes. So you're gonna use the mosquitoes to give me the thing to keep me safe? Yeah. How's it not biological warfare on your population? My words hurt people's feelings. I can go to jail and you can freeze my bank accounts, but the government can fucking spray shit in the air and say it's killing the flu virus. Detonate nuclear, thermal, atomic weapons in the atmosphere, and it's fucking fine. But I gotta worry about my car driving and killing dinosaurs. Anyways, I know those are all crazy things, but it's just the world is getting crazy. It's funny. I love it. Best time ever. But 2 Epstein facts. Apparently, Epstein's pimp killed himself.
Yes. I was hoping you'd mention this.
It was some French LaDouce name. I'm not even going to reference it because, you know what? The name doesn't fucking matter. You can't search it. I'm going to type in Epstein pimp on the internet. The funny thing about it, it comes out the same week that Prince Andrew made a settlement with a United States woman.
Highly doubt those are related, Ryan.
The same week.
There are no conspiracies and there are no coincidences.
This is no accident.
This is no accident. How does Joe Biden, the person who least capable of putting a sentence together, say it best? This is no accident.
Because a fucking computer wrote that for him. I bet you that teleprompter he speaks off is the new artificial intelligence of the future. It's got Obama's voice too. Joe, just listen to me. Just say it this way. I don't do a good Obama. I do better Trump. Russia-Ukraine stuff, I'm not going to even reference that other than World War III, baby. Yeah, okay. I sent Dave a photograph about how the news was talking about how unreliable the power grid is. Oh, and then I was laughing because I was thinking about how they're forcing everything to go electric. And then I thought about all the fucking money I'm going to make as an electrician.
But Ryan, that's why we need to build back better, Ryan.
That's fine, as long as you put the money in my bank account. Well, that you're just going to freeze. Yeah, when you freeze it. Imagine going to buy a gallon of milk, declined. Like, dude, I got $2 in there. Nah, sir, it's like government declined. What? Yeah, apparently your Facebook post about the guy jumping off a bridge hurt somebody's feelings. So now, you and your kid got to starve for 48 hours. You can come back in 24 hours when your band is
You can come back in 2 weeks when we flatten the curve.
It's down to the minute, too. You got 23 minutes to get your money back, bro. Dude, our founding fathers would be down there beating the bricks off these people. And they wouldn't be called crazy because they know this is crazy.
These are all of the things they were trying to prevent.
Literally your fucking money. I'm a terrorist. What?
Do you believe in that crazy far-right conspiracy called freedom?
The word freedom? Libertà? Like, what? What? Next, they're going to say the Bible is a far-right idea. They already do! The founding of civilization and Western cultures.
Freedom is stated in these racist originating documents that we believe in.
See, here's the thing, too, for people who don't know. Freedom and liberty are not actually the same word, right? Words are important. Liberty is specifically political freedom. Specific. political freedom. Freedom is the freedoms you enjoy walking around the street. Liberty is like that. Like your political rights, like that liberty. Like it's if you define it, it will tell you in Webster's. I seen a article. Of course, I couldn't read it because I had to subscribe to their business model and subscription fees. Fucking pricks. A vibe shift is coming.
A vibe shift?
Yeah, and of course it showed like this super white trashy girl with like running mascara, and she was highly like unattractive for being probably hot if she dressed normal. And yeah, dude, a vibe shift, you know what that means? We're crafting a new society. We're going to push this narrative. I've seen a thing that 8% of Americans finally identify as LGBTQWXYZ.
Well, yeah, if you encompass everything into the term.
I'm sure they're asking children as well. I was waiting for the Snopes fact check on them surveying, 350 million people and seeing what gets them to, whatever. I'm not even going to keep finishing. It's just fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. I'm seeing things about birth rates, like the global death population in Western culture is going to run off a fucking mathematical cliff because no one's having kids. It's just, it's engineered, people. Influence. All right. I guess that's it. I'm on my Decembertainment.
I'd like to point out, though, real quick, our show preps, how amazingly different they are.
Yeah, no, I'm like
Ryan's over here like crumpling and flipping paper and stuff, and I'm like on my email account, like scrolling. Before Decembertainment, I wanted to talk about something that you sent.
Mm-hmm.
The TikTok thing, Ryan. I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I did. I'm gonna be as honest as possible. I had no effort put into verifying this. I suppose at least if I'm transparent about it, if this comes out false, at least I pointed out we put zero effort into verifying that this is correct. But I'm going to put the video here.
TikTok is in fact manipulating the automatic captions. And hopefully it will show my captions and you guys will let me know what you think. Okay, I'm unsilly, I'm unfringed, I'm unfunny, I'm uncool. I'm unburgundy, I'm unmarshmallowed, I'm unwired, I'm unvaccinated, I'm unvaccinated, I'm unvaccinated, I'm unvaccinated. I don't care who you are,
Well, we can try it here. We can have subtitles on YouTube and just say all the same things she was saying and it would show up on here.
Maybe, but maybe TikTok is
I'm
specific.
unsure, David. I'm unsure. I'm uneasy. I'm unaware. I'm unprepared. I'm unvaccinated. I'm unvaccinated. Unvaccinated. Under assumptions.
I guess we're going to find out. I guess we're going to find out if that worked or not. I don't know. It's crazy if this is actually the case. It's not that I would be surprised one way or the other, but good Lord, that's controlling narrative to a new level.
Yeah, there was a woman, to round out the video, a woman on TikTok I was sent to me by a buddy, and it was a woman basically saying all the unaware, in a row, and then when she did unvaccinated, the subtitles on the TikTok screen, and the video I actually sent David, it's somebody recording a phone that has the TikTok playing, so it's like a double screen thing, you know what I mean? So it's on somebody else's phone, and the person that had the TikTok I seen is recording it. And when she got to unvaccinated, the subtitles changed it to I'm vaccinated, I'm vaccinated, I'm vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. So that's kind of why I did that. So because we will actually see the subtitles. I have subtitles on my YouTube, so I'll know when I watch this.
Well, with any luck, Ryan, I put the video in the video.
Oh, fantastic. All similar things. One last thing before Decembertainment, I forgot I had this, but when I pulled up my phone, I had to say it. The Fed is setting out to kill inflation. Brace yourself for collateral damage.
Yeah, but they're just going to cause more inflation.
Jumped over 7.5% last week, a four-decade high. And they're basically talking about raising interest rates. Now, I'm not an economist, so take this with a grain of salt, but I was always told if they even raise interest rates at the Federal Reserve level, even a fraction of a percent, it could literally because all these homing loans and all these other, if you don't have a fixed rate mortgage or a fixed rate loan on stuff, if it's a annual percentage rate and it's a fluctual it's just the ripple effect's fucking crazy. So I don't know what they're going to do, but for the media to say, don't worry about inflation for like, I don't know, ever, like probably the last 4 decades, for it to be at a 4-decade high. They lie to you. We know it, but all right. So I got a couple things. I watched Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz. I didn't watch it all, but I need a little uplifting thing, dude. Joey Diaz never disappoints. I didn't make it through the whole podcast, but I don't know. I don't know if it's his voice or the way he tells stories, but the guy just gets me giggling. So that was very nice this week. I've been a little, it's been a little crazy. Things have been all right in my personal life, but I don't know. It's just like, maybe it's the weather. You feel like not 100% all the time? Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
After you survive the Omnivit, the Megatron variant. So I want to watch the Kanye documentary. I've not cut out the time to do that, but it is something I do want to watch. Kanye West isn't like he's not on my like political my hip hop radar or anything, but the guy is a crazy artist and people are speaking highly of it. So I do want to check that out this week. And I also went to the gym for the first time this week. I went with my boss. He basically kicked my ass. I've been sore all week.
Are you fat phobic?
No. Well, I actually told him, I was like, yeah, man, I've been a little depressed. He's like, you need to get the serotonin levels up. You're coming to the gym with me. It's like, thanks.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah. So that's science backed, YouTube. That's science backed. You can kill depression with working out. So yeah, he's an animal. Can bench press like he can like deadlift like 450 or whatever. It's just so I went. He jacked me up, but I had fun. I want to keep going. But yeah, I'm super sore, man. I don't know if you've ever like tried to work out or stuff. I've never really actually tried, so I went with zero
for a long time.
Yeah, I went with zero expectations and I exceeded all of them, so that was cool. I'm stronger than I was in high school. I can lift up more than I thought I was going to do, so that's all cool. But just in general, whole process, it was cool, man. Plus, there's a couple hot chicks there, so that's always awesome. On to my realist entertainment this week. I watched a video about the Metaverse being killed by Microsoft. And I fucking loved it.
Why would Microsoft kill the Metaverse, Ryan?
Oh, because they're fucking awesome.
Microsoft is awesome. Bill Gates, Microsoft.
Fuck that guy. No, they were just basically stating how like Microsoft, this guy broke down the video great, but Microsoft has been like the way they've been prepping for this, like, you know, they're in the video games, computers, but they're on cloud gaming and like the guy made a good case on why they have a better infrastructure to build a Metaverse style reality. Like they have, but the Skyrim creators, I don't know why I can't say it. Bethesda, there it is. Bethesda with Fallout and all these secured franchises, and just in general, they were just basically saying how Xbox subscription model for like Game Pass and stuff. But it's like Xbox and Microsoft have like been positioning themselves to just be so open with everything, cross-platforming, and the guy just made a better case that Microsoft has built the framework that Mark Zuckerberg may not even get Metaverse off the ground because Microsoft is so far in advance with competition. And, you know, basically all Zuckerberg has for him is Facebook and the Oculus. Microsoft has everything else, though.
Yeah, but the Oculus is like a huge key piece to virtual metaverses.
Yeah, but what if Microsoft just fucking makes the room a projection? What they had the Kinect. You know what I mean? Just fucking
Kinect was a joke.
Yeah, well, the whole point is, but that's part of the point, though. Like, I mean, the Oculus wouldn't be here without the Kinect in a weird way. You know, like these things are all kind of plugged. Either way, the guy had a phenomenal video breakdown about it, and it made me giggle my ass off because you know how much I hate Mark Zuckerberg. But thinking about Microsoft running VR isn't any better than Zuckerberg.
No, none of these big companies. I don't want any of them controlling reality.
Yeah, but it kind of paints all the way back around the stuff we talk about here, how they know what they're doing and how, you know, once again, I told you guys that they're not just going to let one reality out there, you know, one multiverse reality dimension You know, like this is we're here, man.
No, why? When you can have. Well, this could be the start, Ryan, of the idea, the concept that everyone has infinite timelines, right? Maybe one timeline is real, and then the other timelines are virtual.
But that's what we live now.
So, in theory, that it's correct. It's a correct theory.
Yeah, we're immortal. I mean, we're on the internet. We've said enough words that you can compile anything together, copy and paste a video, and make me say anything.
I might try that.
You know what I mean? I mean, really, like remember the song of the guy that did with like Trump and all these other political figures that they would make them sing songs and stuff? Like we have that level of content out there. So like just the idea that like that's immortal, let alone like the idea that I could build in a computer space a reality of my childhood home and revisit it anytime I was wishing I could think of like a memory or like trying to re-experience the smell of my mother's cooking when she's dead or something. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. The thought of revisiting my childhood home in a meta-constructed universe and like seeing me running by as a kid, playing in my backyard with my sisters.
What if the AI is so advanced too that not only do you get to go back to your childhood in this virtual reality, but like some of these games where the choices you make changes your outcome, you could actually relive your life with different choices. Maybe
that's what deja vu feeling is in reality, David.
That's crazy.
Maybe that's when you get the hair stand up on your neck. Maybe that's, we don't have a biological, we don't know why you get goosebumps. We know, like, we don't understand them. We know that, like, you get them when you're nervous and all these other, but we really can't, like, pinpoint why they happen. Like, it's a combination of things, but that's just like we don't know why we have thumbprints or fingerprint. Like, there's things we can't understand about our biology. Like, maybe some of those feelings is us coming back from the meta, peering back through time.
This is a pretty crazy, for two sober guys, Ryan, this has been like a Rogan on shrooms Decembertainment.
Yeah, I'm drinking a protein shake and water right now.
Ryan goes to the gym one time, he's slamming protein shakes and water.
I've been doing protein shakes a while.
Deadlift 450 like my boss.
Hey, 185, dude, I did all right.
Deadlift 6,000 in the meta.
Yeah, I can't wait to be chode in meta banging girls that are actually guys on the other end.
Ryan's got to deadlift all that weight. So
my metaverse is just going to be naked women.
You can't
99 virgins, bro. Going Muslim, Thank you, everybody. This is David Ryan, December 1773. Follow us on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube. I'll check you guys out on Monday at the premiere at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all for your support. Thank you, David, as always. If you guys made it to the end, I appreciate that the most. My December nights, Dave and mine, December nights. Like, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, all that jazz. But take care. Thank you guys. And
I was going to tell everybody to rumble the video, but I'm not going to lie. After our recent discussion, I don't know if they should. that Metaverse VR talk that got wild at the end.
That was real, like, actual off the rails. Dude, how was the Super Bowl for you?
What do you mean?
We predicted you were right. And I thought I was going to be... I was right, I was just wrong on the score. Like,
we were both right.
Sorry. Yeah. I was right on the way it ended, just wrong team.
Yeah, Ryan said it was going to be by a field goal, and I said it was going to be the Rams. So I guess, you put us together, we give you correct information. I can promise you that. You just got to decipher which combination of our information is correct.
You need to fact check your own self. Until then, thank you all. See you later, David. Man, go Bills.